I did. Okay, so this is another sesamoid recovery update. This is Brian, and I've been doing a video documentary. Some people have been making comments. I appreciate them. Just really trying to help other people looking for info on sesamoid injury, sesamoid fracture, sesamoid recovery, the experience, the surgery, the recovery, complications, pain, outcomes. That's what this is really all about. I mean, the gist of it is I had the fibular sesamoid removed. During the recovery, I found out, because it was because of a fracture. During the recovery, I found out that my other one had somehow fractured during the recovery. It was fine before. Sucked. Got a bone scan. I found out I had osteoporosis. It's weird because they kind of say, well, these aren't bones that normally break because of that. So I think, well, okay, who knows why this is happening to me. Whatever it is, it sucks. Might be old sports injuries, I'm not sure. I was a catcher as a kid, through some of high school. Lots of up and down. So anyway, I'll show you a couple things here. This is the orthotic that they gave me. I don't think I posted a video on this. You can see the metatarsal pad in the middle. That's the little bump. Basically, kind of spreads your metatarsals apart and lifts them up. And then on the bottom, you can see there's like a metal plate in there that kind of goes from the middle to the, and that keeps my toe from bending, and it brings the pressure to the middle of my foot. So that's this orthotic. This is the real deal right here. And a lot of times I wonder if I had something like this back before I had the surgery, whether I'd really needed the surgery. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know that kind of thing. So here's where I'm at. It's been, let's see, I had the surgery in June of 2016. It is May of 2017, so about 11 months out. I would say that things are improving. I would also say that I feel like I have a disability. In terms of day-to-day life, my situation is okay if I'm walking and sitting, for the most part. If there's stairs involved, it's very difficult. I almost always feel really paranoid to really put weight on it. It just doesn't feel like I could really support full weight. Now, some of that's probably because the other one fractured too, which, honestly, I'm not sure I would worry about the other one fracturing. If you have a broken fibular, I think I'm a freak of nature when it comes to this situation. But just kind of know it's worst case scenario. It does happen, apparently. So currently where I'm at, I've got this really nice looking scar. I mean, scar wise, you barely tell. But here, so I'm gonna kind of take it through a few motions so you can see. So you can see the kind of the S-shaped incision. I'm going to show you the range of motion from each angle. So as I go up, I'm going to tell you when I start to feel pain. So right now I'm at maximum extension. What I feel is a little tugging on the scar tissue, no pain really on the outside of the scar tissue. I do feel a little bit of tenderness in the joint right here. And actually, if I push on that, it's arthritic pain in there. So, it's hard to say why that's happening. I mean, it's on the opposite side of the fibular, so I think it's got more something to do with the fact that the inner sesamoid, I told you this is the one that fractured in the recovery of having this one removed. So, anyway, I'm going to show you the range of motion from all angles. So right now, you can see the side of the foot, and I'm going to pull back as far as I can on my own. So right here it feels tight. Tight on the bottom. Okay, so right here, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. So I do have some pain now in the bottom probably on the fractured one. Honestly, yeah, it's right there. So got some pain there on full extension. Now watch when I move my toe towards the inner while it's up. That hurts. You can see the instability in that toe joint. Well, hopefully you can see it. See how it's shaking? That's weak. And it's sore. I mean, the big toe joint hurts there. So I'm trying to show you movement. So painful. Now some of that feels like it could be like a tendon. And so I have been trying to stretch things a little bit. Notice, so okay, I grabbed my toe, I pulled it outward. And in my mind, okay, I don't really try to do this too much, but what I notice is when it's out, that pain, at least right there, is gone. So I think that, you know, there's definitely arthritis in between those, in that big toe joint, because that takes the pressure, obviously, off the joint when you pull it. It also, I believe, has the effect of stretching that tendon. So I've been kind of playing around with it a little bit, and I've noticed that when I do that, what I end up with is it's sore pretty bad for another day or so, and then it gets a lot better. I really haven't been able to get any kind of physical therapy. I'm starting to think maybe it would help, but I'm doing these stretches in between. Another thing is that when the other one broke, they put me in a boot. Now, I was never in a boot for the first sesamoid injury because of the amount of time it had gone between when I had the issue and reported it, which was years. But when the second one fractured, I went to a different doctor. He put me in a boot. So I was in that for 6 weeks. Pretty crappy. I mean, it sucks. There's no joke there. It sucks. And one of the things that started happening is pain in my knees, pain in my hip. I kind of thought that was bullshit, honestly. Like, looking online, you see people saying that. It's not bullshit. It took a while. Actually, I didn't start noticing really the pains until weeks after I was done with the boot. And it was like the act of coming back down off the boot seemed to... It's like my body was just confused. And I'm still having knee problems. Going down the stairs is really hard. I get kind of pain in the front of my knees, both of them, as I'm walking downstairs. Walking anywhere, normal, you know, non-elevated heights, lots of clicking. Went back to went to see a knee doctor, and they did an X-ray. He didn't seem too concerned about it. He said, "Well, we can do an MRI, but we think you should do physical therapy." He seemed to think that it was possible that things were out of alignment in terms of the muscles. So I'm going to do that starting, I think, next week or the week after, actually. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. And, you know, I'm not real sure what to expect there. So I don't know. I mean, it could be that I have some sort of systemic joint problems, or maybe that is related to the recovery. Hard to say, but it's part of my experience. So anyway, day-to-day activities right now. Stairs are tough, but I can do them. If I'm relatively rested, I can do some lifting. I gotta be careful, but like, I just lifted a 36-gallon aquarium and was able to manage to get it upstairs by myself, with the water drain, of course. But that's heavy and awkward, and it requires a lot of toe off. And I know doing something like that, I've learned that I can do it, but I should expect more pain in the sesamoids for a few days. So that's the thing with this recovery, is that, at least in my case, it's not that you can't do things, but you'll quickly learn your limits, and you'll be hesitant to do them because you know that you're going to have up to a week of injury, pain after that. So I'm not through that yet. I'm 11 months out. You know, I guess I got to start the clock over once my other one broke, but So it's frustrating, but there are times on soft carpet especially, which we got right around the time of my surgery, that I'm walking around and I don't notice anything. So I'm starting to have better barefoot experiences, which I think is a big deal. So it's a long, slow recovery. They might tell you 3 months in the literature. It's not 3 months. Don't think 3 months. Do not believe the stuff you see online, or just understand that if you're looking on averages, maybe it is a law of averages. 3 months, maybe, but understand that with averages, there's a min and a max, and the max you're looking at them. So I'm 11 months out. I think I'll probably need another year. I think in another year, 2 years from the surgery, I have a good feeling that things will be in a better place. So I don't regret having the surgery. I think I should have got more opinions on the situation, waited it out longer, seen if it's not just that I got an orthotic and it didn't work. What I didn't understand is that there's different types of orthotics. And the first orthotic I was given by the podiatrist that actually did my surgery was a relatively firm leather orthotic. And I don't know anything about orthotics, so I'm like, okay, this is what you get. No, the one I showed you here in this video was given to me by an orthopedic surgeon. And, with that alone, and it's the Morton's extension, that's what that plate is, I just remembered. With that, metatarsal pad and the Morton's extension, with the special shape of the orthotic, you might be able to get away with no surgery. And, I'm glad the bone's out. I am. I feel like it needed to come out. I think it was tearing shit up in that joint. But in my case, the other one ended up breaking. I still got a broken bone in there now. And all I've got are broken bones that I walk on. So, go figure. Didn't see that coming. So it sucks there, but the other way to look at it, I wouldn't have known I had osteoporosis if this hadn't happened. So I might have saved myself a hip break, and well, then that's worth it. So it's amazing what a little tiny pea-sized bone will do, because that being messed up can throw off your gait. Your gait being messed up can throw off your hips, your knees. Your knees being messed up can make it, all of this can make it so you can't exercise. I've gained probably 10 pounds since this all started. I haven't been able to run in, 11 months. And you gain weight when you have an office job, and that's the case. Probably going to get a stationary bike. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. But that makes it tough, and it's a vicious cycle, because when you're not exercising, you're gaining weight. You're gaining weight. That's more pressure on your feet and your knees. So it's in cardio, that's really where you lose weight. So, and another issue with osteoporosis, they encourage weight-bearing exercise. Well, any of that, I can do it with arms and things, but squats, good luck without a sesamoid. Definitely tricky. I wouldn't even try it, frankly. I would have trouble squatting without a weight, let alone with weights. I honestly can't even imagine it. So, yeah, it's a disability. It's not recognized really that way. People don't see your messed up sesamoid. And I didn't even know I had one until all this started. So I get it. But that sucks if you're impacted by it. You might be limping around and down a hallway and people are stacking up behind you because you're walking slow, getting pissed off, blah, blah, blah. Nobody thinks about anybody else's situation in this world. So, or very few people. Some do. So, you know, that kind of stuff, that's part of this too. And, you know, running, we're about to have a little girl here in about 4 months, our first baby, which we're both excited about, but I'm terrified because I can't really run after her, and lifting things is tricky, so I got to get better. And you know, I'll do what I got to do, but you know, even if you're in pain, you're a parent, you do it. But it's another piece of anxiety associated with this. So it's a big deal. It's a little bone, and it's a big deal. And I sympathize with everybody. I know some folks that are watching have already had the surgery done and had better experience, and that's awesome. I really thought I'd be one of the good experienced people for some reason. I usually heal real well, but it's just been a journey. I'm not sure that there's a lot of point in doing many more of these, unless something changes, maybe, you know, next year. But, excuse me. So, you know, this may be the last one I do. If there's any questions or anything, feel free to shoot them at me. I will respond to the YouTube comments. And, you know, really, I would encourage everybody else with different experiences to post their journeys on YouTube too, because there's not much out there. And you know, like I think I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, the only resources I really found were on YouTube. First, there's a real good fibular excision surgery video to really understand what happens in the surgery. There was a video by another guy who had a work-related injury on his exterior, you know, the inner, I'm messing these terms up, maybe the tibial, anyway, medial sesamoid. You know, he gave his recovery experience. I watched that. There's a few others out there, and the only website that's worth a damn is Dr. Richard Blake out of California. He's a podiatrist. He's got lots of videos, blogs, forums, comments, responses. He still monitors the thing. Google it. I found that site, and it's just like a support group. And you know, I really recommend going to his site. There's not much else like it on the web that I found. You'll find medical literature, people talking about, you know, don't have the sesamoid surgery, and all these comments and things on restricted forums. You can't see all the replies. You know, it wasn't that bad. I just don't know that I wouldn't say that I feel, I'm not recovered, which is what I was hoping for. I viewed it as a healing process. I don't think that's what surgery is really about. You're never the same after a surgery. And so it's different, but you're never really the same. So I don't regret it. Excuse me, but I do wish I would have looked at it a little differently, a little less optimistically, a more realistic approach. If you have it, expect 2 years of recovery, and then expect to be at like 85%. That's my advice. Brian Bain signing out, and thanks for watching my series. Take care.